Welcome to the Principal at Home channel. This is episode 5. It matters that you show up. I really want today to be a time of encouragement to all leaders, also obviously to challenge us in different ways to push us to grow. But I really want to encourage everybody. I'm going to start with this. Even on your ordinary days, you have more meaning and impact than you'll ever realize because your presence is powerful. Just being visible and being there and pushing through on your ordinary days when you don't feel your best has such an important positive impact. So I want to kind of go back to a couple of things that come to my mind that personally that I can relate to when I say that. First is this. I remember there was a Monday morning where I showed up to work not feeling great, kind of pushing through some sickness. The previous weekend did not go as planned. Again, just not giving it my all. I didn't feel like I was there mentally focused as a leader that day. But I truly did make a point still to connect with students. They walk in the building, have those small conversations with teachers throughout the day, get in the hallways between classes, during classes, just being out and being visible. And I'll never forget on a day when I did not feel my best, I had a teacher come up to me at the end of the day and they said simply this: "Thank you for checking in on me. It meant a lot to me." And looking back on the day, I honestly have no idea what I said to the teacher. And that's not a good thing to say. But what it reminded me of was that our presence is so powerful. Just being there and being visible. And then this past week, we had our senior sunrise at 5 o'clock in the morning before the first day of school. And just being transparent, I wasn't exactly fired up about this, but I knew it was important to our seniors. So myself, our high school counselor showed up at 5 o'clock in the morning to meet our seniors for the senior sunrise. And kind of halfway through that morning, we had a student come up to us and say, "Man, I never would have thought an administrator, a teacher, counselor, anybody would have shown up for this the day before school started." And that was another reminder that, man, just our presence is so important and can make such an impact on people we work with, we live with. So again, your presence is powerful even on your ordinary days. I think a lot of times the world views leadership in those heroic moments, those mountaintop moments. But I think leadership is in the valleys, is in the day-to-day, small, faithful actions that you bring every day, even when you're not feeling your best. Even when you're not feeling your best. And I think that's what builds trust over time and kind of what starts to shape a culture is when you show up every day. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here very briefly is three very, I think, practical takeaways that you can apply to work, your family, other areas of your life, your relationship with God. So the first point I want to touch on is be present on purpose. Be present on purpose. So whether you're in a team meeting, whether you are leading a classroom full of students, whether you're a part of a team as a student, whether you're in the cafeteria during lunch, whatever it may be in your area of work, your family, be present on purpose. That is so important. And I'm going to come back to that point in just a minute and go into a little more detail. But the second practical takeaway I want to talk about is this: don't wait to feel ready to lead. Man, if that's our attitude, we're not going to be leaders most days because you don't have to be 100% every day to be a leader. You just need to be there, be visible, and be present. So don't wait to feel ready to lead. Show up even on the ordinary days. And the third point, which kind of ties into the second, let consistency speak. Be consistent in your day-to-day approach as far as being visible and being present. You don't have to be impressive every single day. You don't have to be perfect every single day. You have to just be available. Be available and be present as a leader. So I want to circle back real quickly to that first point: be present on purpose. So let's talk about our family and our home life for just a second with this point. When you get home, are you present with your family? Are you giving your spouse, are you giving your kids your full attention? Or are you going and sitting on the couch and watching TV for a couple hours and just not acknowledging your family at home? Are you going home and you're getting on the gaming system and not acknowledging your family? What are you doing at home that's keeping you from being present with your family? So, if that's where you find yourself, and we're all probably different in that area, what adjustments do you need to make so you can be present with your family when you get home? And the last point I want to talk about when you talk about being present on purpose, I'm going to kind of twist this around just a little bit. We have to make a purpose. We have to be very intentional on being present with God every day. And when I say that, I think about our prayer time with God. When do you go to prayer, go to God in prayer? For me, it's usually first thing in the morning before I get going, because if my day gets going, I have a hard time pulling back and making time to pray. So you have to be present with God in prayer at some point every day. That helps build your relationship with God. So where do you find yourself with that? Be present on purpose with God. So I hope that is challenging, but also hope it's encouraging for us as leaders as we talk about those three practical takeaways. Be present on purpose, don't wait to feel ready, and let consistency speak. So as you lead today in the weeks ahead, please remember this. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Be present. Be present and visible. And the last thing here before we start closing up, I've been saying this saying for a while throughout my videos, but I think this lesson today, when you show up on your ordinary days, it will help us lead well at work, but even better at home. So I really hope today has been a time of encouragement, a time of challenge for us to continue to grow. Please continue to like, subscribe, and comment on my YouTube videos. And don't forget about my new website, leadfullcircle.net. You can find free practical guides. You can find other resources. I'm also looking to start for next summer, possible leadership conference. So if you have any interest or want to sponsor or just have questions, I would love to hear from you as I try to build a leadership conference here locally sometime next summer. But again, please go check out my new website, leadfullcircle.net, and I will see you next Sunday. Have a great week.